Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Tabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys the first perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a very serious show for you guys, but before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my name is Charles Tabansi. My handle is CTABANZ. If you want to follow the channel on Instagram, same name as the channel, DREAMERSPRO. And also, if you want today's full show before it comes out on YouTube, it is streaming for free on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We have that pinned in the comment section below. Anyway, let me get into this topic here because there's a lot of chat around this particular story. For those of you who may not be aware, there's a situation that there's this kind of a story breaking around NBA Oklahoma City Thunder, Josh Giddey, of an alleged affair that he had with an underage girl. So we're now trying to get to the bottom of that. The NBA still has an ongoing investigation about that. Now, I was recently on break and we produced a show. And that show was simply this. I was asking for Malika Andrews to come out here and make a public statement because on so many other issues involving blacks, she's the first one to jump up there and start hollering and screaming and all of that. So I said, okay, we need to hear your voice on this. And we'll be getting to Malika Andrews a little bit later today. So that's that part. As I was going through the internet, kind of following this story, I also heard other people out there asking, hey, Stephen A. Smith, where are you? Where are you? We want to hear about you. We want to hear from you. Now, what's the reason people are saying this? Based on the information I have, based on following Stephen A. Smith and all of this, I think the reason people were asking to hear from Stephen A. Smith, is a lot of people, or some people out there, feel like Stephen A. Smith is hypercritical of blacks, especially when they F up. But whenever it comes to whites, he's always a little bit more pragmatic. And in this particular instance, people were like, okay, we need to hear from you now, because this is a serious story and we need to hear your voice. That's the reason people I believe, were calling on Stephen A. Smith to speak. I personally didn't care about, I wasn't looking at it from that angle because he wasn't even the one I was looking for to speak, to be quite honest with you. The person I was looking for was Malika Andrews. I really didn't care one way or the other. But nevertheless, I guess Stephen A. Smith heard the chatter out there and he decided to go on his own show, the Stephen A. Smith podcast, to address the public and the people who've been wondering why he refused to put out a public comment. So what we want to do is we want to play exactly what Stephen A. Smith had to say in response to his critics, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say there.
Another item I wanted to get to was something significantly more sensitive than what I just finished talking about. And that is the case involving Josh Giddey of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, let me say this to all of y'all out there who've been clamoring for me to touch on this subject. Y'all getting on my last damn nerves. Could you try to be responsible? Could you try? That's all I'm asking. What you want Stephen A. to say? Oh, man, where you at, Stephen A.? If this was a brother... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. If it was a brother, I would have treated it with the same level of sensitivity. This man, Josh Giddey, is currently being investigated by the National Basketball Association, the NBA, over allegations that he was having a relationship with a minor. We don't know who she was. We don't know how old she was. He's 21. We don't know how old she is. We don't know anything. We know there's an investigation going on. That's all we know. We don't know anything else. You know why Stephen A. hasn't said anything? Because you could get sued, idiots. You don't just go out there running your damn mouth over something this serious. A fight that took place on a basketball court, sure. Allegations where the alleged victim is identified, sure. Where the specification of the crime is illuminated, sure. But this clamoring to comment about something with no information, no definitive facts, you can't do it. You can do it on social media with your troll ass selves. You can do it then because you don't have any real accountability. But why don't you try using your social media accounts and going to Josh Giddey and flat out accusing him and stating it as a point of fact? Make sure you give him your name and address too, because he probably could sue you. You have to wait and see. We don't have all the information. We don't even have the specific allegations in terms of its depth Again, we don't know how old she is. When you say a minor, what do you mean? Are we talking 16? Are we talking 14? Are we talking 12? What are we talking about? Is she 17, about to turn 18 in a month? But got parents that are pissed off because she was messing with an NBA player? We don't know. There are a whole bunch of things going on. I don't know. I have no clue. If I had a clue, I would have spoke on it. But I don't. And that's why I haven't said anything. And my advice to y'all is to shut the hell up and do the same. The investigation is ongoing. We're going to find out something. And when we find out more information, we'll speak on it. When Josh Giddey was asked, he said he couldn't comment on it. That's what he said. Quote, I understand the question, obviously, but there's no further comment right now. That's what he said. I get the question, guys. I completely understand you guys want to know about it, but just for right now, I don't have anything to say. It doesn't sound suspicious, no doubt about it. Fair enough. But that's not enough to engage in dialogue about it. Not over the digital airwaves, linear airwaves, anywhere else. Can't do it. And Dagenot, the head coach, when he was asked about it, he said it was a personal matter and I have no comment on it, and that will be my answer on anything related. What you want Stephen A to say? What you want me to say? You want me to act like I was with him? And I saw exactly what he was doing, who he was doing it with, and what was going on?
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say. I have a few thoughts because he makes some points. The first point he made, which was this, the reason why he wasn't commenting was because it's a story that's still being investigated, and the last thing you want to do is go out there and start accusing people, right? So before you go down that road, it's best you remain quiet until all the information comes out. Because if you go out there and start making accusations or coming to conclusions about facts that you don't have, you may risk being sued. That is a fact. He points out a fact, and I think it's good that he said that to alert some people who may be going out there and doing that, accusing this person, accusing that person, because you could be sued for that. However, I don't believe that's what people were saying. I don't believe people wanted Stephen A. Smith to persecute Josh Giddey or say he did this or he did that. I don't think that's what people wanted. What I think people wanted was to hear his thoughts and opinions on the situation. And you cannot tell me that you have no thoughts on this particular subject matter. I will refuse to believe that. And I'll tell you why, because I'm going to speak from personal experience. I've seen Stephen A. Smith touch on many issues. And the moment the story breaks, I've heard him say this, and I'm not accusing him of anything, but I've heard him say this, and I'm going to paraphrase in case he tries to sue me. I've heard him say, and I want to paraphrase, if this is true, if these reports are true, such and such and such, if this is true, and we don't know if it's true, but if it's true, he then takes a position. To me, why all of the nuance? Why all this nuance? I've heard you and other people come to conclusions quicker on other people than you did this story. To me, I don't think anyone, again, is asking Stephen A. Smith to accuse anyone. That's certainly what I'm asking for, because what can he accuse on when he doesn't have the information? All people are looking for is to hear from you. And Stephen A. Smith doesn't strike me as someone that's shy about giving his opinion. So there's no need to be coy here. I think that's at the heart of the matter, in my personal view. I could be wrong, but that's what I believe. I think people just want to hear what he thinks, and I think we need to hear from everyone. I think we need to hear from everyone because we hear from everyone for everything else. We heard from everyone about Kyrie. We heard from everyone about Deshaun Watson. We heard from everyone about John Morant. We heard from everyone about everyone. So in this particular situation, all we're saying is talk about it. Cover the story. Same situation with the Brett Favre. No one is saying accuse Brett Favre of anything. That's certainly not what I'm saying. What we're saying is talk about the story. We've discussed it. We've covered the blow-by-blow and the play-by-play of some of the things that are happening surrounding that case. We have. If you go through those shows that we produced, nowhere in that did you hear me attack the character of Brett Favre. All I did was react to the information that I got on those reports. And to me, I don't know why all of a sudden now we need to re-strategize on how we're covering the news. But I guess everyone has their own methodology. That's up to them. That's what I think. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about Stephen A. Smith's response? Do you think what he said will suffice, or do you wish he went further? And ultimately, how do you see this particular thing playing out? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.